If your Mediterranean fantasies feature balmy days by sapphire waters in the shade of ancient walled towns, Croatia is the place to turn them into reality. Croatia's extraordinary island-speckled coastline is indisputably its main attraction. When set against a dazzling white pebbly beach, the water sparkles with a jewel-like intensity in shades of emerald and sapphire. But shift your gaze from the glittering waters and chances are an almighty mountain will loom into view. The limestone karst is a wonderland of craggy peaks, caverns, river canyons, waterfalls and ridiculously picturesque lakes. 1. Dubrovnik. Croatia's most popular attraction, the extraordinary walled city of Dubrovnik, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site for good reason. Despite being relentlessly shelled in the 1990s during Croatia's homeland war, its mighty walls, sturdy towers, medieval monasteries, Baroque churches, graceful squares and fascinating residential quarters all look magnificent again. For an unrivaled perspective of this Adriatic pearl, take the cable car up Sur, the city's craggy backdrop. For a more intimate glimpse, circle the city walls and peer into hidden gardens and ancient lanes strung with laundry. 2. Plitvice Lakes National Park. A turquoise ribbon of lakes linked by gushing waterfalls in the forested heart of continental Croatia, Plitvice Lakes National Park is an awe-inspiring sight. There are dozens of lakes, from 2.5-mile-long Kozjak to reed-fringed ponds, and their startling colors are a product of the karstic terrain. Travertine expanses covered with mossy plants divide the lakes, while boardwalks allow you to easily traverse this exquisite watery world. Follow hiking trails through beech, spruce, fir and pine forest to escape the crowds by the water. 3. Hvar Town. Come high summer, there's no better place to dress up and get your groove on than Hvar Town. Gorgeous tanned people descend from their yachts in droves, rubbing shoulders with up-for-it backpackers at après beach parties as the sun drops below the horizon. While the cashed-up yachty types keep the town's top-notch restaurants and cocktail bars in business, sun-dazed young revelers do the same for the little dance bars that are the mainstay of the scene. Pack beach gear and shoes suitable for dancing on tables and you'll be set. 4. Muljet. Cloaked in dense pine forests, marvelous Muljet as an island paradise. Legend has it that Odysseus was marooned here for 7 years, and it's easy to appreciate why he'd take his time leaving. The entire western section of Muljet is a national park, where you'll find 2 sublime cobalt-colored lakes, an island monastery and the sleepy little port of Pomena, which is as pretty as a picture. Don't neglect eastern Muljet, home to some tranquil little bays, brilliant beaches and a couple of excellent eateries. 5. Zagreb. Zagreb is made for strolling. Wander past the red roofs and cobblestones of the upper town, which is peppered with church spires. Afterwards, do as the locals do and head to a café. Zagreb's café culture is just one facet of this city's vibrant street life, egged on by a year-round roster of events that brings music, pop-up markets and food stalls to the plazas and parks. Even when there's nothing on, the center thrums with youthful energy, so it's no surprise that Croatia's capital is now bringing in the city break crowd. 6. Istria. La Dolce Vita reigns supreme in Istria, Croatia's top foodie destination. The seafood, truffles, wild asparagus and boscarin, an indigenous species of ox, all stand out, as do myriad regional specialities and award-winning olive oils and wines by small local producers. Sample the best the region has to offer in upmarket restaurants by the sea, in traditional family-run taverns in medieval hilltop villages and in farmhouses all over the peninsula's verdant interior. If you're not consuming at least one truffle dish a day, you're not doing it right. 7. Vis Island. The most remote of Croatia's main islands, Vis is also one of its most captivating. A duo of attractive towns adds historic interest to its northern and western coasts, while hidden to the south and east are some of the nation's most idyllic little coves, some pebbly and some sandy, and all completely irresistible. Scattered around the island in villages, on farms and at isolated beaches are an assortment of excellent traditional taverns, making the most of the island's organic produce and still thriving fishing traditions. 8. Bol Bol, on the southern coast of Brac Island, is home to the illustrious Zlatni Rat Beach, with its horn-like shape and golden pebbles. The pretty harbor town is a favorite among windsurfers. The channel between the islands of Brac and Hvar provides ideal wind conditions, thanks to the Mistral, strong, steady westerly wind, that typically blows between April and October. The wind picks up slowly in the morning, an excellent time for beginners to hit the water. By early afternoon, the winds are strong, perfect for those looking for a real adrenaline kick. 9. Korčula. Like Dubrovnik in miniature, the sweet little seaside town of Korčula has its own set of imposing walls and towers, but only a fraction of the tourists of its more famous sibling. The highlight is its extraordinary cathedral, adorned with a downright kooky set of carvings. You can walk every one of the marbled streets of its compact old town in an hour, leaving plenty of time for lazing on the beach or heading into the hinterland for a memorable meal at a village Konoba tavern. 10. Krka National Park. There are Roman ruins, historic watermills and 2 fascinating monasteries, one on an island and one built over ancient catacombs, but the star of the highly scenic Krka National Park is the Krka River itself, rushing through canyons, broadening into lakes and splashing over numerous falls and cascades. You can stroll along boardwalks and marvel at the multitude of fish darting through the emerald waters. Cap off your visit with a dip in a lake at the foot of a mighty waterfall. 11. Split. Experience life as it's been lived for thousands of years in Diocletian's palace, one of the world's most imposing Roman remains. The maze-like streets of this buzzing quarter, the living heart and soul of Split, are chock full of bars, shops and restaurants. Getting lost in the labyrinth of narrow streets, passageways and courtyards is one of Croatia's most enchanting experiences, and it's small enough for you to always find your way out again easily. Escape the palace walls for a drink on the marble-paved, palm-fringed riva along the water's edge. 12. Zagorje. The postcard-perfect medieval castles of Zagorje are prime for some time travel. Journey back to 1334 in Tracoscan Castle, although its present-day neo-Gothic exterior is the result of a 19th-century makeover. Learn about Croatian aristocracy in its well-presented museum and wander the 215-acre castle grounds landscaped into a romantic English-style park with exotic trees and an artificial lake. Enter the 16th century via the hilltop castle of Veliki Tabor, worth a visit for its pentagonal towers and turrets, atmospheric interiors, and the bucolic landscapes that surround it. 13. Zadar. Set on a peninsula shaped like a hitchhiker's thumb, the old town of Zadar has history and culture in spades. Roman ruins protrude haphazardly from the city streets, while museums and churches lurk around every other corner. Artsy types, students and style mavens rub shoulders in bars ranging from utterly classy to deliciously divey, while food lovers frequent the many excellent eateries. Backpackers are well served by some brilliant hostels, while families gravitate to the surrounding beach resorts, and charming boutique hotels reel in the romantics. 14. Cres. Leafy, sparsely populated and never overwhelmed by tourists, the island of Cres is unique among Croatia's Adriatic Isles. Strolling through the Tramontana region in the north, you might even begin to believe the old people's stories about elves lurking in the ancient forests. At the other end of the island, tiny Osor is a walled town as sleepy as you'll find on the entire coast. Scattered in between are gorgeous beaches, lost in time hilltop villages and the pretty pastel-hued harbor of Cres Town. 15. Cape Kamenjak. It's the rugged beauty and end-of-the-world vibe of the small Cape Kamenjak Peninsula that have earned it cult status among Istrian beachgoers. An undeveloped protected nature reserve, Cape Kamenjak showcases a carpet of heath plants, shrubs and wildflowers, criss-crossed by a maze of dirt tracks. It's fringed by a string of pebble bays and secluded rocky beaches, surrounded by a crystalline blue-green sea. It gets busy in summer, but there's always an empty beach to escape to, followed by a refreshing drink at a buzzy beach bar. 16. Kapaki Rit Nature Park. A floodplain of the Danube and Drava rivers, Kapaki Rit Nature Park is part of a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve and offers some of Europe's best birdwatching opportunities. Join a boat trip and keep your eyes peeled for white-tailed and imperial eagles, black storks, purple herons and woodpeckers, just some of the nearly 300 species recorded here. Alternatively, you can explore a flooded forest by canoe, or hike the nature trails and try to spot the area's resident mammals, such as red deer and wild boar. 17. Motovun. The approach to Motovun is nearly as captivating as the destination itself. This picture-perfect hilltop town rises from a forested valley that appears untouched by the 21st century. Centuries-old houses line the steep approach to the outer gate of the even older walled town, where a final gate opens onto the town square. The views from the fortifications are virtually unchanged from when they were built, taking in a lush expanse of green and the rolling hills beyond. Go forth to hunt down truffles, fine wine and even finer olive oil.